Hello everyone, I am Julian Morris with the Channel 5 News. In the headlines, 7 former Calypso monarchs are heading for next week's semi-finals. 10 Caminogo families to receive climate-resilient homes as part of a $2 million housing project. And youth participation boosts confidence in the future of Dominicas' traditional old mass. The details of the news coming up.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
7 former monarchs have been chosen to enter the semi-final arena later this month. Andrea Louis has our report.
34 Calypsonians competed in the quarterfinals over the weekend, with 20 being chosen to head to the next round of competition. Members of the royal family who will battle it out for a prestigious spot in the finals are former monarchs Andrew Basil Scrunter with We Holding Still, Derek Hunter St. Rose singing Rap Spoon and Fork in Napkin, Denison Dice Joseph with Fire Bundem, Tasha P. Peltier, who is also the only woman making it to the semi-finals, will perform Ross Response, Davidson The Observer Victor with Climate Change, Gregory Caressa Rivera singing Boo Boo, and Keith Ito Tronada with Write a Kaiso for Me. Another Calypsonian who won favor with the judges is Wilfred Intruder Peltier, who last made it to the semi-finals with his song Pull String back in 1996. This time, his song Walking with Their Eyes Closed advanced him to the next round of competition.
Cause everywhere I roam, and everywhere I stroll, it's like people in position, walking with their eyes closed. Chaos in the police force, they're walking with their eyes closed. Nurses lying late at night, they're walking with their eyes closed.
And the others who got the judges' nod to move forward are Danian Joseph, stage name Danyan with Holy Country, Jude J.D. Deloney singing For King Executive, Fael Dihila Lander with Hope Must Survive, Lima Irish Kid Irish with Fight On to Your Dreams, Jamal Lloyd Black Diamond singing Do Look for My Tongue, Derek Centville, stage name Lugas with Caressa, Wayne Shadowflow Robinson with Something to Think About, Webster DeWeb Marie singing Darkness of Blackness, Jocelyn Jama B. Charles with Change, Abel Checo John Baptist singing Take Out the Teeth, Murphy Cy John Jules with Parry, and Cecil Checker Burnett singing Cure of Diablote. Semi-finals are carded for 16th February at Carnival City. Andrea Louis, Channel 5 News.
10 families in the Caminogo Territory to receive new resilient homes. Member of Parliament for the Salibia constituency, Cassius Daru, says to date over $2 million has been spent on housing developments in the territory.
Specifically in the Caminogo Territory to assist people with housing renovation. In the first case, we spent $883,000 immediately post-Maria, and a few months ago we disbursed another sum of $1.3 million. This went to the residents of the Caminogo Territory who had to do their re-roofing and building small structures so that we could remove them on the tarpaulins. What we are doing now is to build new homes. And if we take a drive to the Sineku community, we'll realize that we have 10 new homes that we'll be handing over in this coming month. And this is directly benefiting the families who are more vulnerable at the moment. And the Concord site, we have identified a site in Concord for us to build an additional 10 homes. And in each community, each hamlet in the Salibia constituency will receive at least 20 of those resilient structures.
Daru says the initial plan was to construct apartment-type structures. However, this was met with some resistance by the council. He remains optimistic that these structures will be built in the territory.
The apartment type structures, the Caminogo Territory was the first community that was supposed to benefit from those structures. But when we had discussion in consultation with the council indicated that they are not in favor of these apartment type structures and that we should have more traditional designs for the Caminogo people, which I don't totally agree. But that was a decision that the council took, and we had to listen to them. But we are not ruling out the possibility of us building homes, apartment type building for the Caminogo people. In fact, I will be meeting with the community on the 7th of this coming month for us to further have discussions, read the development of apartment type structures. Because I believe it's an opportunity that we are missing for us to see some new architectural designs in terms of the aesthetics of our buildings coming to the community.
The Salibia MP says Atkinson is not to be forgotten in this housing development program.
The people of Atkinson, we have identified an area where we'll be building the apartment type structures in the Atkinson community. And we will also be allocating at least 20 of those resilient structures to the Atkinson community. I'm hoping that work can commence very soon because we are only about 4 months away from the next hurricane season.
The Minister for Tourism and Culture has commended the youth for their participation in the traditional Old Mass Festival. Here again is Andrea Louis with a report.
The 21st festival was held over the weekend to showcase elements of Dominica's traditional carnival culture. Minister Tang says youth participation in this event ensures a bright future for the country's traditional mass.
I must say this is a wonderful, wonderful display of our cultural heritage in Dominica, and especially all the groups from all over Dominica. And I think what is especially exciting is to see the number of young people in the groups. It really made me feel happy that we have a future, our culture has a future, and we have a long way to go.
The minister reaffirmed the government's commitment to incorporating culture into tourism to boost the country's overall tourism product.
The government of Dominica is definitely fully committed to moving and pushing culture forward. We see culture has tremendous potential, and we have to ensure that we incorporate our culture into our tourism product so that those persons who are taking part, it no longer just becomes something that they do on the side, but it can also provide some form of economic activity. As you know, we have quite a few amazing hotels being built in the north, and when all these hotels are open, persons who come to Dominica must have some form of entertainment. And we want to ensure that those persons who are being entertained by persons displaying our culture and expressing to the people what Dominica has to offer.
Meantime, Chief Cultural Officer Raymond Lawrence says the Division of Culture is taking a community approach towards enhancing carnival culture.
This year, the Cultural Division decided to put more focus on our communities. So we chose for ourselves a theme for the year, which is building community through culture. Because we feel, look at this afternoon, the groups come from all over the island. And each group so spectacular, so impressive in themselves. And it's a number of people from the communities from where they come. And don't talk about the kind of support that they have in their own communities. We need to get young people more involved in positive, creative activities in Dominica.
The traditional Old Mass Festival started in 1998, 2 years after the Sensei had been reintroduced to carnival celebrations. Sensei had been banned after the Carnival Fire of 1963.
You're watching Channel 5 News. We'll have more after the break.
Imagine you have Hollywood at your command. Introducing Flow Evil.
Red cheese, gold rings, all black, everything creeping through the night.
Anywhere you are.
Big girls don't scream hard like Halloween, make me feel alive.
There's a world of entertainment here, and you run the show. Flow Evil.
Italy vetoes EU recognition of Juan Guaido as Venezuela's interim leader. Rome has effectively derailed an EU statement meant to recognize Juan Guaido as Venezuela's interim leader if President Nicolas Maduro fails to set up snap elections. The statement, which was supposed to be delivered by the EU Foreign Affairs chief, recognized Guaido as interim president if snap elections were not held. Russia, China, Turkey and Iran said they see Maduro as the only legitimate leader, warning against meddling in Venezuela's domestic affairs. Maduro himself rejected the EU ultimatum but promised to push for political reform. Meantime, CARICOM has distanced itself from the head of the Organization of American States, Secretary General Luis Almagro, and his support for the opposition in Venezuela. CARICOM itself has maintained a stance of non-interference and has not picked a side in the clash between Maduro and Guaido. CARICOM member states say Almagro spoke in support of Juan Guaido but did not have the authorization of the OAS. One official said he was stunned that Almagro, as a public servant at the OAS, would step so far out of his crease to make a public statement in the Maduro-Guaido clash. Almagro is accused of not having consulted with members of the OAS before announcing his position in the crisis in Venezuela. A letter from CARICOM heads dated January 24, 2019 calls on the OAS to clarify that it does not speak for the CARICOM countries. Guaido himself has turned down an offer by CARICOM to a mediation meeting in Trinidad. And this is not the first time that the regional leaders have had concerns about Luis Almagro's position as far as it relates to conflict in Venezuela. According to the Jamaica Observer, back in June 2017, Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Keith Rowley called for the removal of the OAS Secretary General Luis Almagro. Prime Minister Rowley made the call over Almagro's non-neutral position on the political situation in Venezuela. At the same time, Rowley warned CARICOM of the possibility of destroying itself as an honest broker with respect to any involvement in assistance to Venezuela and its internal problems. He said his country had taken strong objection to Luis Almagro because of the very derogatory manner in which he engaged Venezuela's President Nicolas Maduro. Back then, Almagro called for the suspension of Venezuela from the OAS unless general elections were held to break a political impasse, which he said was destroying the country's democracy. Luis also accused Maduro's government of systematically violating human rights and standards of democracy. Dominica's Foreign Affairs Minister addressed the OAS back in 2017, appealing to the organization to maintain neutrality and to guard its integrity. Speaking at the first plenary session of the OAS Assembly in Mexico in June 2017, Honorable Barron highlighted the need for respect for the sovereignty of nations.
Dominica is committed to upholding the rule of law and to the strengthening of our democratic institutions, as outlined in the Inter-American Democratic Charter. We recognize the need for the OAS to take action to support these goals, recognizing that shared security in our hemisphere is beneficial to all member states. The action of the OAS, however, should uphold the principle of non-interference and respect for the sovereignty of nations. At all times, dialogue must be encouraged. All parties to conflict and perceived conflicts must be encouraged to resolve issues through dialogue. However, for the OAS to play such an important role, the integrity of the institution should be beyond reproach. The actions of the organization should therefore be unbiased and consistent with the behavior of international public servants and representatives of multilateral organizations.
Si ou ni maladie HIV et bien maladie sexuelle, si ou pas protéger corps là ou kane sexe avec plusieurs monde, ça kay mette la vie ou en gros danger. Ou ka exposer tout partenaire au poison et que tant ki ka vini avec maladie. Servi yon condom chaque fois ou kane sexe. Changer qui est important pour découvrir maladie à bonheur ou ça vivre en bonne santé même si ou ni maladie HIV. Point responsabilité, protéger corps et puis les autres. Examiner corps. Aider du bout si même maladie HIV et l'autre maladie sexuelle.
To end the news, a look again at the headlines. 7 former Calypso monarchs heading for next week's semi-finals. 10 Caminogo families to receive climate-resilient homes as part of a $2 million housing project. And youth participation boost confidence in the future of Dominica's traditional old mass. Feel free to contact us at news@marpin2k4.com. You may access our past newscasts on our YouTube channel. On behalf of the production team, I am Julian Morris. Thank you for watching. Join us tomorrow.